Hey guys, I am back again. Today's bit of playing around is I've been wanting to kind of fiddle with some texturized beads. So here's a handful of things that I did. I think I showed you a couple of these a few episodes ago. It's just white Primo clay, and I've been using pan pastels and some stuff to stick in there, and yeah, and just kind of some of my texture rollers that are just more like obscure patterning and just trying to get some cool colorization and such. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to play with today a little bit. Where I mean, that's kind of theme-esque, but I'm trying to do a few other things with it as we're playing around. So, this was what I was tinkering with. I think it was this morning. So I'm just kind of playing with new ways to make beads, essentially. So this is what I would call I don't even know, little bead log, whatever. Oh, there it is. And then that is a piece cut off the end and then done with the Kato clear polymer, a liquid clay, and heat gun. So that seals it in and makes it shiny. And that was the end cut, so it's kind of crappy, but I just wanted to see real quick. So I plan on cutting this down into individual little pieces of a similar size and making a whole set of like little spacer beads with that. So that's what that's for. Um, how I built that, I'll show you. We'll do a couple more of these. This is just kind of a clay on a skewer, essentially. um, I use knitting needles, so I get a whole set of knitting needles, and off Amazon you can get them. They're stainless steel, but they're Amazon. You can get them a handful of places. Give me just a second. I'm gonna go ahead and throw you guys up on Facebook real quick, just to make sure that everyone knows that we're around. Because I never plan this stuff. I always just kind of like, oh, last minute. Hey, I've got an hour. I'm going to sit here and share. There we go. And both places. Sweet. We're live. Awesome. All right. So I was tinkering with making basically a bead blank base kind of thing. So, you know how I was using the grommets on the thing and then my little bead roller plates and making beads? Kind of wanted to play with the idea of a bead blank. So rather than using the grommets just on the end, I can cover the clay here. So then I can make a shaped clay bead, and then I can texturize said shaped clay bead. So that's kind of the game I want to experiment with. And then we'll play with a few ways of colorizing it and whatnot. A little bit of a hot spot on that, don't I? Is that too close? Still got to get lighting perfected. There we go. What if I turn that light back on? And that gives us an awful glare. Yeah, no, I think it's better without that one. Okay. But yeah, so that's kind of the game for today. So I guess I could show you how I did this to begin with. Just take a nice little skinny, at the moment I'm working off the same size diameter. I think these are like 1.5 or 2 millimeter knitting needles, if I remember correctly. Pretty sure that's the size range. I'm gonna take my little, oh, I've got some texture rollers. So I'll show you what we're planning on playing with. This is what I've been using the most, and that's fossilized coral. Um, this is crunched metal. I know it, I'm sure it's on the website. I don't think it's on Etsy yet. And then this one is, I don't even remember the name on this one. I think I just got it up too. So it's somewhere in the Elements collection, I believe. It's some sort of metal. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It might pop in my head in a little bit. And then this set is kind of neat. It's that might be interesting actually. These are the North Carolina in the fall section selection. And I was mostly eyeballing these. So these are leaf litter. So basically, I was up in North Carolina. I took a bunch of pictures of all cool kinds of cool textures and things. That one's deep woods. That one looks like little trees and all the foliage. This one's clinging because there's just a couple little leaves still clinging to branches. And then that's branching out. This one's really, really cool. And it's got a nice big tree in there and all the branches going outward. So any of those just make really good, just little subtle textures. I'm not planning on doing anything big scenic, but so that whole selection just gives me a good little sampling of textures and stuff to play with. The rest of the fossilized coral selection is pretty good too. Um, Nautilus might not be exactly what I'm playing with right now, but it wouldn't be bad to try to incorporate like maybe just a single. I should have wet that. Yeah, so you can get just a little bit of like a ridge nautilus section in there and whatever. So that's kind of what I want to play with is just like dinking around about putting more textures. Oh, that is actually really cool in there. Just see it. Let's see how much that comes up when but yeah. So, and then it's brain coral and fossilized honeycomb coral. So they're all fossilized corals technically. Or at least that's how they're listed. So that's how you find them online. But anyway, okay, so I guess I will show you step by step how I did these, but I have a couple of things already set up for me to keep moving forward so we don't have to wait and bake everything, hopefully, for the most part. So if you cut that, oh, sorry, I have lost track of where the camera's sitting. So if you cut that back at an angle, get all this stuff out of my way. I want it tiled there so that I have my bead holders just out of the way so that I don't beat that stuff up. And everything else needs to go off to the side, and then we need a tile kind of centered, and I am totally not prepared today. But yeah, so I cut that back at an angle, if you can tell, and I will lift it up to make it a little bit easier to get it started. And then I'm just going to go away because I don't need you at the moment. And lift that up and then just work on rolling that onto it. I'm going to stabilize that with my hand and just try to get this to roll. And remember the thing about clay is it kind of needs a little time to think about changes in shape. So if you want something to go from flat to round, you kind of want to just like play with it a little. You don't want to just be like, oh, here, be round. Just give it a second. Let it think about what it's doing. So there's one roll, there's two rolls, and you can kind of feel where, at least the first time I did this, I could. Now I can't. And now we're at three rolls, whatever. We're just going to pick a spot and hope we're, oh, I can put the end maybe? Oh, here, I can tell where I started. So I started right here. There we go. So I can see right there. So there should be where I want to end. So I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to cut it back at a little bit of an angle. And aiming to try to get the hole moderately centered. That. So yeah, actually look at there. So there's where we started and that's where we ended. So we managed to lay that out actually perfectly. I'm going to give it a little bit, just a couple little rolls just to kind of help seal that edge. And then I'm going to grab it and just kind of finger fiddle it. Try to get that edge to seal over. I can take skinny roller. There we go. And just kind of could use a fat knitting needle for this. I don't want to flatten it so much, but I really do want to kind of just seal that seam. I don't think it's overly necessary that it's perfect, but just a nice little neaten job is good. And I want to be kind of careful how I roll this because a lot of times if you start rolling it, it's going to want to separate away from your where it's stuck on. So because this is stuck on there kind of nicely, I'm not getting too much of that, but it's possible if we just like, especially if you like started holding this and like really rolling it, definitely start separating away. So I don't want to separate it away because I want it to stay down. And apparently my tile is still a little dingy. I made a mess, if you can't tell, of my pan pastels. I've been playing around with too much color and it's everywhere. They're kind of like glitter, but not glittery. Oh, we could put some glitter on me. I don't even know. I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that edge off. Just kind of can roll it into the knife a little bit and get yourself a clean edge. Maybe, maybe not. It's working so much better when I wasn't on camera. Funny how that works. honest, I'm not going to do that to the other end because I don't think I'm going to get a good enough, clean enough edge. Okay, so that is how I made these guys. You could take a big tile and lay it on that and kind of roll it out a little bit if you want to spread it out a little. But I think that's fine. So, and that's a whole and total complete interior core. So, like I said, I don't care if it's a little dirty, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to get it, show you guys how I made those. So now we've got some that are baked. Oh, that's the other thing is I can take that and I can texturize that, and that's what this is. So I texturize and colorize this before baking it. I baked them so that I can make things thicker like those beads. So let's go back to how we fatten this up a bit. And need another one of those. So put it on there. And then I'm going to cut a strip of this about the same width roughly. Doesn't really matter because it's going to get all rolled around and messed with. Oh, and also this is rolled out on a 6 on my pasta machine. So it's really, really, really thin. I tried it first on a 0 and trying to get that single layer with the edge lining up was just not having it. You could put some clay, liquid clay down on this. I don't think we're going to need it. And I don't want to make it slippery. So what I'm doing is I just start that edge on it and get that rolled up. And then I'm just going to come in here and like really lay it down. Okay, so it's 1 roll, 2 rolls. It feels like about 3 rolls. So we can look at that and see that I was about right. It's about there. So we can either knife it like this or lay it back down and cut it back. And laying it down and cutting it back would have been the better option. That's what I did last time. Trying to be cool. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, whatever. We're just going to smear it all the way across. And again, we're making textured beads. I've got a good solid base under, so at least I know we're going to be somewhat hold the shape we want. And I wanted to make these guys pretty darn big. So I'm now going to take another skinnier piece and almost like paper beads. And I was thinking what would work actually really well is just cut this at in a triangular shape. I do want to lay this down. Get just a little bit flatter here. And I don't want any air bubbles, so I do want to roll you up. There we go. And I have no idea where that started, and I'm not going to make a big thing of it. Being less picky is sometimes more. So I'm going to encourage that to lay down. And I'm going to, it's kind of the same way I roll my other beads. I always try to get that edge to lock in kind of using my fingers. That seems to work pretty decent here. And then I'm going to scoop this out of the way. I'm going to pull these over. And that should be kind of just wide enough. There we go. So it's starting to work off all the extra and getting us a decent shape to it. Now I think I made this just a hair too wide to use this easily because it's not fitting down between those grooves. And this is the widest I have these built, so I might have to build them wider at some point. And the next few of these I will cut more narrow so they fit within maybe, and we'll try it like that. But if you don't have, ooh, guess I can do it the really tricky way. Usually I'm off the edge of a table, so the table ends like here, so then I can hang my stick way off. But since I'm not, I'm going to just do it here. So I use my thumb to keep this bead from running away too much. And I just roll it across there, and then I slightly lower my angle to where I'm almost flat. And you see how nicely that curves that out. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. We got to go all the way to the other end of the stick. stick down and find the edge of that hard piece in the middle and then just start rolling back. I use my thumb to keep this from coming too high up and attacking me. There we go. Okay, so now I've got good shape to that. And I'm going to grab my little knifey and I'm going to find that hard spot in there. And maybe. Go. And again, just kind of lay my knife in there and twirl the bead up against it. And apparently I've got something catching there, but no big deal. So you can take it off, you can kind of roll it in your hand a little to just soften the texture up and give it a little bit more of a random life of its own. I could work it again on the thing. I could put it back in the little mat shaper, but I don't think I need to. I think it's fine as it is. So there we go. Like I said, I do want to texturize the heck out of that so it can just hang out there. So now I've got 3 that are pretty chunky sized. Let's do 2 that are a bit thinner than that. So in order to break this off, sorry, should have showed you guys. I always just push it, put it down and just push on, the clay off of the roller and just, push down hard enough and eventually it breaks loose usually. So I've got a bunch of extra funky at the end. So you can just push straight down or give it a little bit of a roll and that will let you cut it. So this is how we're going to cut that other guy in a few minutes. So I'm just sort of looking for where it starts to taper and lose its shape. I want to try very hard to make sure the blade stays at a 45 to the table and at a 45 to my post. So those guys I'm going to call garbage. And now, let's see, I can bring my little handy dandy cutter guide over here. And if these are using centimeters, sure, about 3 centimeters each. So I probably want these next ones to be like 2 centimeters each. So smaller, but not drastically smaller. And just kind of push straight down. Pops. And then use one to measure the next. Yeah. And aim for your 45s. And just push down till it snaps. So there we go. I can actually go ahead and cut that one to match because that one's a little off wobbly anyway. Now I feel like I need to do one more. I'm going to be stringing these. I don't want them all kind of the same size. Assuming the plan is a necklace because those are a little thick for bracelet beads maybe. Although chunky bracelets are fun too. All right, and okay, there we go. So now I got 4 of that size. Let's thicken those up. That's already wide enough, so that'll work to start. One of those guys does help a little to pull a 45 angle. Apparently, I should have rolled out more white. Oh, well. That's fatter than. Ah! No, come back! It's fatter than this bead, but I don't really care. Because again, we're kind of just making a mess with the clay. Come here. Pick yourself up. I know you want to. Ooh, there you go. You rolled and stuck. You do want to be round. Alrighty. I don't think I want these quite as over fat as that other set either. It's definitely easier to cut when it's on a stick. So onto the skewer with you. Ooh. Are you being sticky now? It should work. There we go. I wonder that, yeah, that one is slightly thicker. That's probably a 2.5, or these are 1.5 and that's a 2 or whatever. Mostly the same size. Not completely. All right, so now we have that. release. The other one I must have done on the other style. Let's push you down. Nice smooth edge out of you because you do kind of matter a little. I may wind up putting a little bit more on this. Actually, try to push some of that clay back inward. All right. It needs non-sticky. Okay, getting better. Still don't have quite enough clay in there to fill in the middle, so and it's pushing all of it off the edges. So I'll hand roll it to finish, but that gives me at least some shape to it, so that's good. Again, we are texturizing the heck out of these, so I'm not trying to make perfect shapes because we're going to unperfect them pretty quickly. All right. I do kind of want to convince this that it wants to belong, though. There you go. Stay connected. One with your core. Wait, is that the fatter one? No, I'm not sure. Okay. So now I need to figure out which is the slightly fatter one and make all my cores on those and then use only the slightly skinnier ones for the thickening process. Oh, whale. All right, so I need another one of you guys. Got that fat. Got that fat. And got that fat. Okay. Oh, you go over there. Really smart. I'll do my 45-degree angle all at once. Woohoo! Actually, I can go ahead and do that too because I'm just going to let these totally fill up. All right, so release you from the stuckiness. Nope. Nope. All right, let's try from down here again. That seemed to work better last time. Yep, for whatever reason, it's happier to stick to itself than it is to stick to my file. It's happier to stick to my fingers than it is to stick to itself. All right. Bead style thing formed. Edge removed. Okay. Slightly let it laid down there. Fourth. Oh, you didn't want to stick that time. Come on, you can do it. Oh, you're being stubborn. Okay. We are going to try that again. Come on. You can do it. There we go. All right. It's supposed to be the quick part. Not even experimenting yet, and we're already having trouble. I guess this is an experiment too, but figured this would go easier than it is. Alrighty. Come here, you release. No, you wanna. Here we go. Running. Okie dokie. Use one of you guys to. Oh, yeah, that'll work too. I don't even need to go find a big roller. It actually seems to work even better. That gives cool texture too. Interesting. Okay. Things to know. All right. Let's see if I can try to keep most of your clay on here. Mush you back in towards the center. Oh, I'm just making a mess here. All right. We're going to lose a bunch of that. It's fine. Let's roll you kind of flatter and then play this game of get a bevel on it. You're trying to kick a lot of that off. Oh, yeah, you're trying to kick like all that off. You're being kind of unruly. Let's see what you're doing here. Not very much. See? We have like no stick whatsoever to that. All right, we're going to have to reset that one up or just do 3 unless those start misbehaving too. So that's where, see, it wants to stick to part of this. So eventually I could liquid clay that. Sometimes that makes it slippery, and I was worried that they just go like sliding off the outer edge. So that's why I didn't do it that way. Oh, you guys are not this full size. Don't believe I have another. It's definitely the fatter hole size. Let me steal this back again. Slightly slimmer one. I think I only may have the one that's the skinny, I'm thinking. Everything else seems to be working okay. Out of my way. Little bit bevel shape to you. You can do it on the table a little. Okay. Now you're trying to kind of run away too. So it looks like I have just too much clay. And I'm trying too hard to insist on a shape. So I'm going to give up on being so bossy. And let some of this clay run off. And use my hands more than tools. I can feel by hand when it starts doing other things. I hear doors outside. It's probably a delivery. Hopefully they don't ring a doorbell. Because the dogs heard them. I wonder if I can mute you guys a half a second. Let me do that. Mostly they're being quiet. Okay. Yeah, this is annoying having that smaller hole. Don't start with me, you little psychos. Sorry. Try to remember to stay on the camera. Apologies. Looking at stuff. All right. You two, I'm just going to roll you around. I'm going to take that bit of excess off the end because I'm sure that's going to give me trouble. I think that's part of the problem is I've just got so much excess on the end. Go fat. Press and be one with your bead center. Get all woo-woo here with it. Be one with your inner self. No, you don't want to be one with your inner self. Come on, you can do it. Don't Don't make me redo these or just give up on you guys. I don't know why it works so good on the fat ones. Actually, I probably do. It has something to do with the fact that they fit on the skewer and these ones don't. I think having the ability to roll them the way I was rolling them was helpful. Let's see, there we go. I think you're working out all right for now. Whoop. Okay. I don't have any more rolled out to make that extra one, but I think I probably should still. Oh, no. You know what? I think I need 2 more because I've got 3 big ones. So that means I'm going to need probably 5. Oh, no. That's what it is. I should make one smaller. I should make 2 in a smaller size. Right? Hold on. Let me count. If I have, I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, I'll need 4. I'm so confused. Why am I so confused? Need 2 on either side of this and then 2 to the outside. Maybe I do want to make one size smaller then. If that's that size, let's go with whatever the next size down is going to be. And shame to cut you there. That's what it is. And there's an even littler one, but I don't have anything to match it. Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to run these out. So give me half a second to run the pasta maker. Which means I have to shush. Well, it looks like the chat's not working on my computer again. Let me see if I can get it up on the YouTube real quick. Out. Silence. Hey, Crispy. Nice to see you on here. Oh, I didn't mean to close the chat. No, that was the whole point. Live chat. There we go. Okay, that's what I wanted. All right. So back on the mission. Let's run this through at a 0 just to get it flattened back out again. And for a semi-rectangular shape, pull a little, see if I can get rid of some bubbles. All right, now it's got a nice long piece. Picked up some color from something else, and that is, again, totally okay with me. I have so much that the pan pastels just kind of color everywhere. It's not meant to be powderizing all over the place. Just being extra naughty. Edges all cut back. So one more to try to do in this width. I'm going to do it a little bit skinnier than I did the other ones. And then I have to do it this width. And again, I want to be a little bit skinnier than that bead because I think it'll be easier to push it out to the edge, obviously, than pulling it back. And it's about that size. And then the one more is even skinnier. So let's see how this goes. Knife. Always use the knife. I wonder if I can pull you guys this way a little bit without making a total wreck of my space. There we go. I keep wanting to work closer to myself. You know what? Let's try a teensy bit of liquid clay on here. I have a feeling this might make it less easy, but we will try it. Point is experimenting on camera, so if we don't try multiple things, we don't know what's going to work. usually just like to dab it because it spreads it nice and easily, evenly. Oh, guess what? I finally remembered. I found my Costco case of baby wipes. It was out in the garage. Quite happy about finding that. It turns out there was two out there. Because the last time I couldn't find them, I just bought a new one. And then I put it out in the garage right next to where they were hiding. That's hilarious. Wet wipe is good for removing wet stuff, but then to touch the clay, I want dry fingers. So pull that up, and then I'm going to lay it back down, and I'm going to ask it to follow its little self. And this time it held. So maybe very lightly liquid claying this. If you get it like wet where it's slippery wet with liquid clay, it's just going to be a disaster, I'm pretty sure. And then it'll start oozing out the edges and all kinds of craziness. So, thinking that's not ideal. Oh, you're the one that is the normal size. So the core was done in a slightly bigger knitting needle, and I'm now using a smaller knitting needle to roll it. So I've got all kinds of freedom of movement on this one. If I'm going to be able to get that slight bevel at the end, it'll be easier to do here than it will the other ones. They're not going to be willing to bevel for me. Put that on there and cut the edge off. This side. No, stay. Roll you around a little. I don't think you're nearly as fat as the others are, but I think you're a good size and shape. So we will keep you as you are. You're actually trying to work with me. Maybe. Till you run away. All right. Next piece. And these are back to the skinny ones. So, you know what? I don't think I have a fatter drill, but maybe if we just like maybe. God, that goes higher too. Nope, didn't help enough. So these, well, yeah, it helped a little. I'm getting a little bit of free rolling on it now. Not as much as I want, but it'll do. All right, let's go back to using this sticky stuff. A little dollop over here, actually, on the spare tile. I just have a spot to grab it from. Then we go, here we go, dabby dab. Dabby, spinny, spinny, whatever. Baby wipe it off. All right. Now, stick you down there. Back and lift you up. Sweet. You did want to play along. Until you got back onto yourself, and now you don't want to roll. Interesting. I am going to. Oh, you pulled yourself off. I don't know why you did that, but I'm not going to complain. That was right where I was going to try to cut you. So you kind of just decided where your end was. That was very polite of you. Thank you. See if I can get that to lay in a little better. Here we go. Alrighty. shape you up a little. All right, I'm going to call that shaped enough. Edge, come here, there we go. Be gone with you. Go. That one worked better. Still got problems over here. Okay, there we go. Roll you. Yeah, that's good. And one more. I don't think it made enough of a difference. Maybe it did. Let's open it up a touch. All right. Just a little. Spinny, spinny, tappy, tappy. There. Roll you up. Gonna like just pull away like that again. Okay, that worked. That does seem to be the easiest way to do that. Just put good pressure until it wants to bulk because you hit that edge. And roll it, roll it. What you are. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to bother making that other size one because I don't have anything else to match it. So I'm going to leave that undone. The rest of you can all just go back into the pile. All right. Now the goal is going to be make a whole bunch of texturized little pieces here. With the blue for now. Let's be you. Bring you forward some. Okay, so mostly I was playing with this one because this is kind of one of my favorites for this. Because it's just nice small texture. Water bottle and for it to keep things from sticking to it. And then try to kind of set it someplace where it's not super likely to roll away from me. These guys out of my elbow space. All right. And then, oh, actually, guys, I'm going to have to go for just a minute. I lost track of the time. Let's see. Let me go ahead and close out, and then I will come back shortly.